But really, what Ylopo is, in essence, is a growth engine for your business. And as the fuel for any growing business's relationships, you can look at Ylopo as a massive relationship building and relationship fostering program. No matter where you're currently getting your leads from, we can help you maximize the current and future ROI. We're also a marketing organization with over 10 years of experience generating real estate leads. So today I'm going to use our product wheel on ylopo.com as a guide to exhibit for you all that we do. And this is obviously a fairly casual presentation. I've not rehearsed this. I am going to go around this wheel to elucidate all parts of our product. But what I really want to do, because this is only 30 minutes, is highlight the parts of our product that I think are the most powerful, the parts of our product that I think move the needle for you the most. But let me first begin with our websites, because that's kind of the foundational infrastructure on which our system is built. It's the easiest thing to understand, so it's the best to present first, but it's also critical to understand for the rest of the product. The first website that we built for you as part of your license at Ylopo is our IDX home search experience. Now, the home search experience was built with a ton of things in mind, but two main things top of mind, which are speed. See how fast those photos loaded there? Just pretty much instantaneous. I'll show you the wheel again, see how quickly it goes. We index our own photos, so the site is super fast. The little catchphrase I like to use here is, if it's slow, they go, right? So if this site is not super fast and super easy to vet the quality of a home, then they're going to go elsewhere, right? Really, where they're going to go is Zillow, right? And I think we all know that. So this is all about keeping them off of Zillow. The other thing this site does incredibly well is it very elegantly and instantaneously resizes and reshapes for whatever device is being used. So you see how it snaps right into mobile view right there. And then naturally, if they're clicking on a listing, they're doing the finger scroll. If they are on the desktop, naturally it would resize and reshape to that. Market trend data plugged in here, full IDX details, everything related to the listing pulled directly from the IDX, the ability to passive appointment creation right here, and then your presentation as the real estate concierge team right there in the bottom right. It's a great search site, pretty simple. I mean, we tried to build the best search site we possibly could, because this is like the pivotal competitive piece that you need to be beating your competition on first if you want to win clients and keep them in your world, is give them a great home search experience. But I'll move on from that briefly, because we can send you a demo on that to play with. Move into the branded website infrastructure. Now, our home search sites are all pretty much uniform. They look very, very similar client to client, and that's because we need to track data. We need to track engagement rates. We, A/B test things a lot, but fundamentally you can't A/B test chaos, right? So we want to keep the site fairly uniform across the client base. But what we want to do with the branded site is give you an entirely customizable world where you can really differentiate yourself from your competition, that also has the kind of impactful quality to it, where when you land here, it's like, wow, this person really knows what they're doing. That's the kind of vibe we want to give to your customers. And obviously the first thing that they're going to do before they work with you is they're going to Google you, and they want to find a brilliant, aesthetically pleasing, powerful, well-organized presence for your business online. And that's precisely what we're giving them here. This site is actually built on Squarespace infrastructure. What you're looking at right here is a view of kind of like a single agent page we made, a single agent template that we made, and we can build this out obviously for you if you're a single agent. If you're a small team, like the Lugos in Phoenix, husband and wife team, we have a page that can be easily customized to your needs. And then if you're a large team with like locations all over state or area, wherein you say, for example, you want to represent different markets you're working in as a large team. You notice that if I click on Hoboken here, bang, it slots right into the Hoboken view for the DeVoe Group, clients of ours in New Jersey. That's the idea with these larger team kind of brokerage level sites. And we can kind of since Ylopo is a tool that can be applied to either an independent real estate agent all the way up to a super large brokerage, there's really no limitations here in terms of what we can accomplish. We have great branded sites that can be fully customized no matter who you are. And then, of course, they can be customized for what you want as well. So we're not there are companies out there that I'm sure you're aware of that have sold so aggressively into your market. There are 50, 60 carbon copy branded sites out there amongst your competition. If you have one of those sites right now, you come to Ylopo, we will differentiate you from your competition by making you a sensational and continually customizable, meaning you can constantly fine-tune the site going forward website. So I hope that's clear. I'm going to move on from there because in interest of time here. Move into the next three puzzle pieces here. Lead generation, listing rocket, and lead nurture. They're kind of interrelated in many ways because really when I say that we're a massive relationship building and fostering platform, what I really mean by that is naturally we want to generate you leads, and the way we go about that is on social media where leads are very inexpensive. You can pay maybe a 20th, maybe even a 30th of the price of what you'd pay for like a Zillow lead, for example. So you can build a very large number of leads in a database, a very large number of relationships, and then naturally we want to foster those relationships by continually keeping you in front of them with our lead nurture technology. And the two approaches we have to lead gen, one of them is actually Listing Rocket. So by virtue of showing you these two, I'm going to actually talk a little bit about Listing Rocket as I show you that. But the first thing I really want to start with is actually mission control, because this is like, I'll call this like key differentiator number 2 beyond the branded sites, right, is mission control. And I want to highlight, this is an incredibly unusual piece of technology we've created here, okay? Usually when you go to a real estate lead generation company to buy leads, they are not going to show you what they're doing, right? Leads are going to just pour into your CRM. You're going to call them and have an uneasy feeling in the first 20, 30 dials because every online lead generation campaign is going to have bad numbers, going to have disinterested leads, but you're not going to know where they came from. You're not going to know what ads they saw. You're not going to know what budget was allocated towards those ads. You're not going to know the company you're dealing with. How much are they actually paying for your leads? Naturally, if they're not showing you, it would behoove them to generate the cheapest possible lead they can, real cheap leads, and charge you a premium for generating them. So here's the transparency with Ylopo. This console is built to let you look behind the veil of your marketing all the time. You see exactly where we're allocating your dollars and cents. You have all these mechanisms for control. Like, for example, if you wanted to set yourself on Copilot and then slide down here to one of your ads that are currently running and even do things like change out the photographs on the ad or change the copy on the ad or change the demographic targeting on the ad, you have that capacity here on Mission Control. So 100% transparent social media, predominantly Facebook marketing tool, again, called Mission Control. On the dashboard of Mission Control, you get aggregated statistics about the number of brand impact impressions you're getting across all the marketing we're doing, exactly how your dollars again are being allocated, precisely how many people we're recapturing for marketing, precisely how many people we're re-engaging with listing alerts, how many people have liked your business page, all these aggregated statistics we give you here. But most of the work is done here in the marketing console, like I just showed you. Now let me talk about lead gen, and let me start with the types of ads we like to run. Obviously, as you probably already know, coming to us to learn about Ylopo, we have a very, very strong emphasis on Facebook. We think Facebook is really the best place right now to generate leads online. Some high-level kind of reasons for that, strategical reasons for that. One is, 85% of American adults are on Facebook. So the same audience that you would want to capture by, for example, buying a very expensive Zillow lead, very, very strong likelihood that if you're buying a good volume of leads in your market, there's going to be a very heavy crossover between the Zillow leads you're buying at an absolute premium and the leads you're generating for, say, $5 on Facebook. They might very well be the same exact people because it's the same audience across Google as it is on Facebook, as it is who are going to Realtor.com and Zillow. So I hope that makes sense. That's just a very basic reason. The other reason is because the capture mechanism for getting contact information is really the best online. So let me quickly just talk about the ads we like to run. Say, for example, we're targeting a military buyer campaign. The ad we would typically like to run for that would be a carousel ad. They tend to perform best in terms of cost per lead and quality. So we throw a carousel ad, and what's going into these slides in the carousel ad are listings that are actually pulled directly from your MLS. These are IDX-fed listings that are populating here. And the reason why Ylopo can do that, and you can't, is because we're utilizing what is known as DARE, Dynamic Ads for Real Estate, which I'll talk about in a moment. But let's first talk about how leads are captured. So say you're on Facebook, and you scroll down a bit, and you see right here where this Bloomberg ad is for me right now, you're going to see this Ylopo ad. And you're going to be interested enough on one of the properties to click Learn More. So you do that. We run lead ads, okay? Lead ads means we capture the lead's information straight from within Facebook. Okay, so good first name, last name, email, phone number, incredibly high quality rates on contact info, over 90%. Compare that to the 60% that is Google. And you automatically see the power where if you're buying Google leads, which are about 2 to 3 times the price of these, and only 6 of them have actually good contact information out of 10, well, guess what? You didn't buy 10 leads, you bought 6 leads, right? And I hope that makes sense. With Facebook, the vast majority of leads you're going to get have legit contact info. We also ask them a couple of additional questions so we can learn a little bit more about who they are, give you a little bit more intel so that you have more ammunition when you go and call that lead, okay? So the lead would submit this in, and they would obviously funnel down into the Ylopo home search experience that I showed you, except it would be branded for you, like this is branded for Barry and his team, not Ylopo, right? So this is just kind of a demo. But we want to get them in here. We want them looking at homes as much as possible. We want them looking at properties, finding out what's a fit, dropping down the search bar, creating themselves custom searches, opening up the granular amenities, really precisely telling us what they're looking for so that we know exactly what they want. And I'll revisit that strategy when I show you remarketing about how important it is to learn about precisely what the consumer wants. So now when the lead crosses a certain threshold of engagement and proves to us that they're a legit home searcher who is likely to legit transact one day, then we are going to source them to you as a lead. What you're looking at here is a follow-up boss view. It's one of our integrations. We have several CRM integrations. That's the kind of mindset we have here is integration. Lead comes in, got the contact info. Lead comes in, you got their registration card where you know everything there is to know about that lead before you call them. You know precisely when they would like to move, where they're at in their home search. You know what property attracted them. You know their name, good contact info, what actual campaign brought them in. This is a ranch home campaign that came in. And then the last thing you probably want to know is when they were on the site, what precisely did they look at? And in order to get that information, you just click on the View in Ylopo Stars link, which we put in your CRM, no matter what CRM you use. You'll have that link to open up a separate tab on your browser, which will bring you into Ylopo Stars. Here's a view of Ylopo Stars. Basically, this is a platform on which you can see everything your lead viewed while they were on the home search site, including later on, every independent session they were on the home search site, how many searches they did, how many listings they viewed, how long they were on the site, and all that, okay? And then the aggregated statistics for all that. So I hope that makes sense. You go, you make your call at that point, right? And we have scripts, training, everything to help you with that Facebook lead conversion. It is a different animal than, say your normal Zillow call, for example. We can definitely help you maximize ROI as much as humanly possible on those Facebook leads. The quick analogy I like to use with Facebook, Facebook's a weird platform, right? It's a place where we go to kind of just look at stuff in general, right? It's like a box of chocolates when you open up Facebook. You really don't know what you're going to get. You're actually willing to look at anything, which is why people are willing to actually engage with ad content at a much, much higher frequency than they would be willing to engage with it on other parts of the internet. See some companies advertising to me here, Warby Parker for my glasses, Bloomberg because I'm interested in the stock market and so on. So the companies show up here, and I'm actually willing to engage that content because I'm willing to engage with just about anything on Facebook, right? 85% of American adults here, they can be captured very, very inexpensively. The analogy I like to use is that you can go to Zillow and you can buy a $150 golden egg that you hope hatches in the next 90 days. And they have a tendency to hatch pretty well, right? Which is why people are willing to pay that much money for them, right? What I argue is that we can come to Facebook, generate leads for you. You can buy, say, 2 dozen eggs for the same exact price as the one golden egg from Zillow. We know, actually, that more of them are likely to hatch than just one. But you have to sit on them for a lot longer, right? One may transact relatively fast, might hatch relatively fast, but the majority of them are likely to hatch kind of 6 months out or more, maybe even 18 months for one of them, right? So there's just this kind of, by buying inexpensive quality Facebook leads, you're creating this ROI opportunity further on down the line. I'll kind of show you a vision of that, what that looks like. But let's start with the ad types that we like to run. I showed you lead capture. Let's talk about DARE first, okay? Now what DARE represents for you is about a 39% cost improvement against normal generated Facebook leads. So for example, if you opened up Power Editor or Ads Manager, you ran an ad campaign, or you hired a company, pretty much any other company but us right now, to run ads for you manually at scale, which is what they would do. They have a lot of hands on it, but they would just be building them by hand. They would achieve about an $850 cost per lead, roughly, by running regular ads with the regular demographic targeting off lead ad technology, right? So lead ad. With us, it's about $520. And why is that? Well, first of all, because of the automation. What we are doing is we are taking all of the MLS inventory, all the data in your market, and we are facilitating that through the IDX directly into Facebook so that they can catalog it. Here's some 3 general categories. Obviously a current renter would be like a standard home buyer, right? A senior would be like a general demographic, right? Whereas like a horse enthusiast or a golf course enthusiast would be like a niche demo, like a niche demographic, right? So we let Facebook do the cataloging. We have some relationships with data providers that you don't have access to anymore because of the Cambridge Analytica brouhaha around Facebook. They've cut off access for some of that to you. So we actually will take that data from those data providers in combination with an automated ad build approach where we are plugging the relevant content right from the IDX in front of the eyeballs that should be seeing it. So like in this case, here's that military example. If you've ever been active duty armed forces, well, here's a whole cross-section of homes for you that are underneath the VA threshold that you should be seeing right now, right? So really, really precise targeting with absolutely relevant content. And what that is going to yield is not only that cost reduction of around 39%, but a much, much higher quality set in your lead set. If you think about what your strategy is when you buy leads, it's to buy a highest volume of potential transactions as possible, right? And then you just need to sell them ultimately. So that's what we're trying to get you here is the vast majority of the lead set being legit home searchers. And we call them home searchers, not home buyers, because you will actually catch a very significant percentage of people who are sitting in their home right now and who do need to sell that home before they can go buy another, okay? So that's DARE. DARE is applied in a segmented fashion when we generate leads. So if I open up the unfortunately named right now, we're going to change this name, generic campaigns. These are our DARE ads we're running for Barry Jenkins right now in Virginia Beach. You can see his segments are like military, likely to move, homeowner, trade down, but they also very specific segments like horse enthusiast, foreclosure, short sale, newly built properties. And you can see the cost per leads on these are incredibly low. That is DARE. That's DARE segmentation. That's us going after generating leads for you using DARE technology. I hope that makes sense. Now, the other way we can generate a lead is via a listing rocket. And you're going to pay a little bit more for the leads using Listing Rocket. But let me tell you why I think the leads are good. What a Listing Rocket ultimately is when you get a listing, you can come over here to create Listing Rocket, type in the MLS number, type in the listing ID, find that listing, throw it into launch status where it's waiting for liftoff, that property. And when you hit liftoff, it turns it directly into an active Listing Rocket. What that is an ad that is built out of that single listing, okay? So it's a single property's photos in a carousel, MLS description in the top bar, and that is being pointed out at the relevant demographics that would be right for that property. So if you looked at this property right here, for example, you might say, hey, maybe young family, maybe senior trade down, maybe current renter, but luxury buyer, probably not, right? Military buyer, maybe, right? But not trade up, right? So you pick the right demographic to target that ad to, and then we actually run that ad through all of its stages. So we'll actually run it through all the way through to pending sold. And as we do that, we will gather a ton of data. So not only will you make your seller happy because you're promoting their property on Facebook in a really broad form, but you'll actually be able to prove it to them. And the way you'll prove it to them is you'll be able to show them these reports, these Listing Rocket reports where you can say, hey, here's what I'm doing with your listing. Here's what's being shown and featured. Here's how many eyeballs are hitting it, right? This kind of leverage is incredible. Your competition is still likely just boosting posts to their 300 Facebook friends, right? And you're essentially saying to them, hey, I am getting you in front of thousands of people. And we can actually take that same pitch and apply it to your listing presentations, wherein you can say to your potential listing clients, look at the number of eyeballs I'm getting on Facebook. Look how many people I have the ability to reach within 10 miles of your specific property, right? We give you this kind of reverse lookup tool that enables you to show that to them. Here's how I'm going to promote your home on the Facebook carousel ads. Here's the sort of demographic stage-based approach I'm going to take to that to show the right person the right message at the right time. And then the last thing we do, which I think is really cool, is we kind of do a reverse lookup into your CRM and show them, hey, look, I already have 57 potential buyers sitting in my database right now that are a perfect fit for your home. And if we sign today, the first thing I'm going to do when I go back to the office is create an email campaign to blast all those folks, get them into an open house, right? So that is Listing Rocket in a very basic pitch there, so you understand it. It's about, again, making your seller happy, promoting that property, bringing in really authentic interest. Like, it would be weird for someone to look at this kitchen, for example, and be like, oh my goodness, I must find out where this kitchen is right away, unless they're like actually legit interested in it. So you get good leads from this. And then you have that reporting to show as well. Okay, so in interest of time, let me move on to nurture. And so I'm again going around the carousel here on ylopo.com, moving into nurture. Lead nurture is by far the most important thing you can do, creating good lead nurture systems for maximizing ROI in your real estate business. Whether those leads come from Ylopo, whether they come from Zillow, whether they're a referral, whether they came in 20 years ago, it doesn't matter. Lead nurture really is the name of the game. Now, most real estate agents and teams, their lead nurture strategy right now, 99% of the time, consists pretty much solely of either a phone call and or some kind of email/text action plan drip campaign, of which they're usually making the content. It's not really well automated. And those emails are being opened at an incredibly low rate. And the text message solicitations that are cold are making your customers furious. No one likes to get cold texted, right? So we take a totally different approach to this. And the approach we take to is actually utilizing our DARE technology for remarketing. And I argue, I think hopefully convincingly when I show you these numbers, that there's no better thing you can be doing for your business than doing this right here. Even if you did not generate a single lead with Ylopo, bringing your sphere and bringing your database in for remarketing is absolutely a 100% game changer, okay? Let me explain why. Because the same way we get the MLS data into Facebook to catalog, I can actually get your leads' individual home search behavior into Facebook as well. I told you I would come back to this as to why that was so important, that tracking. We can get that data into Facebook, and Facebook can make you a constant presence on the timeline of all your leads. And you might say, hey, I've seen this before. It's kind of like remarketing, right? Like when I go on Facebook, for example, and Bloomberg is showing me ads. Yeah, exactly, except think about your problem, right? Your problem is that you have real estate inventory that numbers in the thousands of homes that are ever changing, and you need to show exactly whatever sliver of your market is most relevant to that consumer, exactly what they should be seeing. And that's why DARE is so powerful. It facilitates that picture for you exactly. We will show, for example, in Sally Jones' senior trade down, that ranch home photographs that she should be seeing that are most appropriate for her and that she has the highest likelihood of buying. So it's not just about showing a pretty picture, pretty stock photo of the sexiest kitchen in your market, having them click into some kind of bait and switch website, squeeze page where you're then like trying to grab their email again or something like that. It's about showing super relevant content right within Facebook, of which people have an insanely high tendency to click through back onto your site as a result. And if you think about what the name of the game for Ylopo and your business, that kind of partnership between us, the growth equation really is get as many people from your database back onto your site as much as we humanly possibly can. I hope that makes sense to you, because every time they get back on your site, they're not on Zillow. And every single time they get back on your site is an opportunity for you to call them and win their business. Okay? So Barry, this month alone, has about 14,000 people in his Ylopo database. He has engaged 4,000 out of those 14,000 in, what is today? It's the 19th. So 19 days, okay? So, and it cost him only $627 to do that. So I imagine you'd want about a third of your database coming back onto your site on 6,134 separate clicks any day of the week, right? I mean, I don't know how many of these people are going to convert, but it's not zero, right? So that is the power of remarketing, is that we can apply it to anything. It doesn't just need to be Ylopo generated leads, right? So I hope that makes sense, and I can't overstate the power of that. I think if you talk to our really successful clients, they will tell you, Barry being one of them, that remarketing was a total game changer for his business when he turned it on.
I'm going to premise this by saying that we test out almost every CRM out there, every product for real estate that's out there. And I haven't seen this anywhere. And that's the dynamic remarketing that Ylopo does. It's absolutely, it blows my mind. The best example of it, I try to explain it to people and they're like, so how does it work? And I don't think they fully understand it. What Ylopo did is they grabbed my database and they threw it into Facebook. And then my database now, past clients, spheres, all these old realtor.com leads, Zillow leads, all these leads that I had in there are now seeing my home search for my website on their feed on Facebook. And as they click on it and start looking for, let's say, a 3-bedroom condo in Malibu, and they start narrowing it down, well, it remembers. And the next day, they're going to be getting more properties that are similar to what they're searching now. That's the dynamic part. So that just blows my mind how Ylopo and Facebook can do that together. The ability for Ylopo to bring back all of these leads now, because I mean, let's face it, real estate agents suck at nurturing leads, right? And this is just another avenue for us to be able to nurture the leads on social media, on Facebook, where everybody is on. So for me, this was, besides lead ads, Facebook lead ads being created, I don't think anything has topped this in the industry from any vendor, from any CRM, from anything out there. Dynamic remarketing is by far the best thing I've done in the last 2 years, bar none.
So if you're going to do nothing else with us, do that. That's super critical. Let us build you one of these beautiful branded sites. Let us run remarketing for you. Naturally, we can generate you leads, all the time. And building that database is obviously critical. That's why lead generation and lead nurture are interwoven, right? You want the database to grow so that you're nurturing more people, so you get to those 4,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 visits a month scenario that we have some clients at. That's why you want to do that. Now, the last thing I want to touch on nurture, we'll keep it quick because I know I'm running short here, is email, the things that you want to do, email listing alerts, things like we do them the best they can be done, okay? So we have these tools automated for you. Listing alert emails, standard listing alerts. We will email everyone in your database, do all the IP siloing and the sort of email sunsetting that you need to do to make sure you don't get spam classified, all those things, we do them. Standard listing alerts would be like, for example, showing your leads homes we think they may be interested in, right? Whereas with our bonded emails, which, as you can see, they massively improve open and click-through rates, we're going to show them properties that we know they're interested in already, and we're just going to update them on those properties. So you've seen this approach before. We try to do it really, really well. Massively improves engagement. As you can see, I think about a 59% open rate and a 21% click-through rate is about as well as you can do email in 2018. Okay, so we have those tools for you. The very last thing I want to show, which is kind of my favorite feature, is behavioral texting. Okay, so as I said, I'm not going to go into the CRM integration part too much on this video because I want to give you a sense of what Ylopo does. Obviously, we integrate with the CRM of your choice if we have the integration set, and I would ask you to please check with us. But what we're going to do as part of the integration is, if you think about the name of the game, getting folks back on your site as much as possible, we want to get them back on your site so we can send you actionable intel so that you can make a call at the opportune moment to win that appointment. So an obvious one would be like if Patricia here requested a showing her info on Louisa Street property in Norfolk, right? Pretty obvious. You should be calling Patricia rather about that property. But sometimes it's not so obvious. Sometimes it's like, did Patricia look at the same listing 3 times in one day? Maybe she didn't request a showing, but we're still going to recommend actions to you in the form of a priority notification that's going to go to your text, email, and into your CRM here simultaneously. And the beauty of this is that you can call and have a categorically different type of phone call with Patricia than you would normally have. Instead of calling Patricia and saying, hi, you know me, I'm Sean, I'm a realtor, we talked 6 months ago, how's the kids? And Patricia would be like, okay, why are you calling me? What are you trying to sell me, right? That normal cold call approach. Now you're saying, hey, you love 553 Louisa Street, that's obvious. It's a really, really beautiful place. I have time tomorrow available. If you want to go take a look, what do you say? Totally different kind of call, totally different kind of friendly approach, helpful approach, giving a value proposition, right? Something Patricia actually wants. That is what we're giving you here in the form of driving Patricia back to the site continually via Facebook remarketing and listing alert emails, and then sending you this action intel item so that you can call them. But my favorite feature actually is, because let's face it, we're all busy. Even I'm bad at follow-up, right? So, and I get to sit at a desk all day. So if you miss the priority notification, we will actually text Patricia around 4 to around 12 hours later, roughly, when it's appropriate, okay? And we'll actually call out what she was interested in the text. This is called a behavioral text. This is AI technology that's informing this. And then we'll even send that famous nudge text that makes you look human and gets a much higher response rate. We got that nudge text baked in there. And when that response comes in, which usually looks like this, positive responses, we do sentiment reading. So if the response is negative, we'll make sure to put them on the no contact list so it's legal and everything like that. But we'll take that response and we'll packet it straight to your phone right away so you can jump into conversation with Patricia right then and there. Now you're in a conversation with Patricia and you're giving her a value proposition that she wants to hear. It was facilitated through the massive growth engine that is Ylopo. all these tools, all these gears cranking all in the background of your business, 100% managed with all the excellent infrastructure on internet website infrastructure that you're going to need to make this happen, all being done for you 100%. And that is essentially Ylopo. And we hope that that's of interest to you. Obviously, if it is, at any time, inquire, ylopo.com, and we will set you up for a demo, give you full pricing, take a look at the availability in your market, and then take a look at the strategies and the roadmap to success. Perhaps you need to use only certain of our tools, but not the rest of them, right? The picture we can paint together, that's the point of the growth engine. And I really thank you for your time, and thank you for watching this video. I'm Sean Pertil. I'm the Director of Sales here, and available to help you whenever you need help. Thank you very much.